Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are going to be talking about how I lost my virginity. Stay tuned to hear that story. So I decided that because I have bangs now, it's really hard to do my makeup while they're in my face, and I have to keep, flipping them up and back down and whatever and shaking them all around. So I just decided to throw this headband in, keep them back, so if my hair looks crazy right now, because it is crazy, they're not supposed to be styled like that right now, but we'll wait to the end of the video to style my hair. But for the story you have all been waiting for, the story of how I lost my virginity, how I turned in my V card, how I don't know, how my flower got plucked, whatever term you want to go with. So I lost my virginity in high school to the boy I am now married to. Fun fact of the day. So in today's age, I'm not sure if losing your virginity in high school is all that a shock anymore. I just remember that in high school, not many people I knew had lost their virginity. But I don't remember a lot of people being like, oh my God, you guys had sex already? Like, wow, what a slut. Like, that was never ever said to me. And this foundation is looking kind of tan for my winter skin, but we'll keep going with it. So I didn't really care that I was in high school when I lost my virginity. That wasn't really like an issue to me at all. I do remember some girls losing it before me. However, to have sex in middle school, I feel like that is too early. Like, you're not prepared to have a kid. If that were to happen, like as a middle schooler, you are not prepared to have a kid. You're not prepared to be a mom or a dad or raise a child. And the thing that can happen from sex is having a child. But as I said, that was not the case for me. I felt prepared as possible for having sex for the first time because we had definitely talked about it already. We had been dating for a little bit. We had said I love you, and that wasn't ever part of the plan. I hadn't ever set in my head that, oh, the first person I'm going to have sex with, I need to say I love you. I need to be in love with them. That was not part of it, but it just happened that way. Before that too, we were already doing sexual things, like everything you could think of except for actually doing the deed. I mean, so in that sense, we were already prepared. We had already been to every base except for home plate. So, however, I was not prepared for what was to come. Jokes. I definitely remember having this feeling of insecurity because I had already felt like that my whole life through middle school, through high school, very insecure about my body. So I was very nervous that he might say something about how my body looks. And I just realized I powdered my face before putting any concealer on. Wow, we really know what we're doing here. I remind you every time, but please don't watch my channel to learn how to do makeup. I'm just talking about sex. I'm not talking about how to do makeup, so don't watch me. Don't look at me. Just hear me. Just hear me out. Don't look at what I do. Thus, we will try to put concealer on over the foundation and over the powder. So let's see if that works. I also just didn't know how it would feel. I didn't know anything about sex other than what I've seen on porn and from what I had heard from my friends who have already had sex before, but nothing prepares you to actually having it the first time for yourself. So I was nervous. I was very, very nervous about how it would feel for him, how long it would last, if we should switch positions. Every worry in the world about having sex, it all comes flooding in, like preparing for it. Maybe up until the point where you're actually having sex, and maybe throughout doing it too for the first time, you're still thinking thoughts like that. It didn't last very long, so I can't remember if I had actually any thoughts other than, oh my God, I'm having sex, like for the 9 seconds that it lasted. That's another thing to keep in mind. When you have sex for the first time with a male, they usually don't last very long because if they're also a virgin, they will come very, very quickly. And I think, if you are told differently, they are lying to you or they're on some sort of magic that helps them last longer. So I can't remember if it was actually only 9 seconds. I feel like it might have been around that, maybe 15 to 30 seconds. Maybe it was longer, maybe it was shorter. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with 9 seconds because that sounds dramatic and fun. So if you're having sex for the first time or you're thinking back on your first time and he only lasted like a few seconds or up to a minute or something like that, don't ever believe that that was because of you. And if somebody is telling you that, oh, you're probably ugly or you probably didn't know, any cool positions, they're lying to you. If it was also his first time, it is not gonna last long at all. It's not gonna last long at all. So that's one thing to kind of not worry about if you're preparing to have sex for the first time, is thinking, oh, I need to know all these different sex positions. I need to know how to pleasure him for a really long time because this is gonna, this is so monumental. This is having sex for the first time. But in reality, it lasts just, a matter of seconds and it's done. So there's not really any time to like switch positions. I mean, hell, if you started a missionary, you should probably just stay in missionary because by the time you think about switching, it'll probably be done. And I definitely was nervous too. Like, don't get me wrong. I watched plenty of porn. I've talked to plenty of my friends that had sex before, but nothing can prepare you for actually having it yourself for the first time. So I was definitely nervous about, am I doing this right? Is this going to go as smoothly as I hope it does? So when it came down to actually having sex, I was about as prepared as anybody can be. I had watched the porn. I had consulted my friends about what to do. I had talked with him about how this was going to go down and what we were going to do and how he felt about it. And I was prepared as you can be. So then after all of that, we were just two teenagers in love, ready to have sex for the first time. So we had the place figured out. We had talked about it beforehand. We were ready to do it. And then we had our condom, our one very trusted condom for that first time. Oh, and the condom, you ask? Yeah, that was a blueberry flavored one from a very untrustworthy source. One of his friends in high school gave him this condom. He probably was like, hey man, I've got this condom I've had in my back pocket in my wallet for like 5 years. You can go ahead and take it. I'm sure it'll be perfect. No, hell no. If somebody gives you a condom, don't use it. Or like, at least make sure you trust this person that's giving you the condom. I did not know his friend that well. I'm like, I rather procure the condom myself, but we were both very nervous to get the condom ourselves because when you live in a small town, anywhere you go, you most likely will know somebody or it'll be somebody's mom and they're like, hey, what are you doing with that condom? And you're like, well, I'm gonna do the deed tonight for the first time. And yeah, the whole town will just blow up and you'll get a call from your mom being like, are you having sex? I'm not talking from experience. I'm just saying that could probably happen. So that was our concern about getting a condom on our own. However, I think that he did because I remember seeing this blueberry condom. I remember looking at it and being like, I don't really trust this like Lifestyles or off-brand condom from your one friend that I don't know very well. So we got Trojan instead. And we also use Trojan up to this day. So very trustworthy brand. You see all the commercials for them. They don't lie. They're very reliable sources. And it's definitely an experience for sure because you never know what to expect. You don't know how it's going to go and you always hope for the best, obviously, but plan for the worst. So that's kind of what we did. I had always thought too that like losing your virginity like made you a woman now. So I thought my fairy godmother would float down from the sky after I had sex for the first time and be like, Chelsea, congratulations, you're a woman now. Here's your woman card. Go out there and use it. I'll take your V card now. So that didn't happen, obviously, but I totally was wishing it would. And I'm not going to go into all the details about sex for the first time, like the nitty-gritty details, but like I said, it lasted around 9 seconds. And we stayed in just one position the whole time because, like I said, you don't have time to switch. You don't have time to think about it. It's just like, you're done. And I mean, it was enjoyable, I guess, for the first time. It wasn't not enjoyable. It was just kind of somewhere in between. Like, yeah, I'm sure this is fine after you do it a few times and he lasts longer than the 9 seconds that he did that night. But for that first time, I'm like, not what I was expecting. It just seems like you work yourself up for this big moment, but nothing ever really came of it. I mean, he came, but nothing else came. And that's the other thing to keep in mind too. It may not be that pleasurable if you were the girl because it's probably not gonna last long enough for you to really feel anything. Like it'll kind of get you there a little bit, but nothing more after that really. And then after it happened, everything kind of went back to normal. We probably went back to playing video games and talking about school. So there you go. That's the story of how two virgins in high school got together and did it for the first time. You're welcome. You should never feel pressured to have sex, ever. At any stage of your life, should you ever have somebody in your life that's pressuring you into doing something, even if it's not sex, they are not somebody to be hanging around because they don't have your best interest in mind. But I also know that not everybody for the first time having sex has it with somebody that they love and care about. I know that it can happen in a lot of different ways, so that's why I consider myself lucky, because I did it with somebody that I loved and that I'm now married to. And I'm not saying that for the first time having sex, you should be with somebody that you're in love with. I mean, it's a personal decision, obviously, when to have sex and who to have it with. But for the first time, I highly recommend the person that you are sharing that special moment with, you're losing your virginity, I highly recommend it be somebody that you know and that cares about you and has your best interest in mind, because that's how it was so easy for us, because we were in love, we were dating, we knew each other so well, and you know, everything just like came natural and easy to us. I totally felt comfortable, you know, with him. I may not have been comfortable with my body, but I was 100% comfortable with him, and I think he felt the same way about me. I think he knew he could trust me and that I wouldn't go blurting this all around school like, oh my god, we just had sex for the first time and let me tell you about it. Even though some odd years later I'm telling you about it all on the internet now, but oh well. And like I was saying before too, you don't need to have sex for the first time when you're super young, like in middle school or in high school even. I mean, if you're waiting for it to be with somebody who you love and care about, wait for that. Don't feel like you need to be pressured into having it with somebody that you just met or somebody at a party just to get it done with. Losing your virginity is not something to just get done with, because it's a big moment in your life and you want to be able to enjoy it for the couple seconds that it will continue to last. And if you're somebody that wants to wait until you are in a relationship with somebody that you love, that's awesome. And if you're wanting to wait until you're married, that's awesome too. Don't let anybody else make you feel bad for waiting to have sex, because again, it's a personal choice. It's up to everybody. You're not affecting anybody else by not having sex. And on the flip side of that, if you aren't waiting until you're married or until you're in a relationship to have sex for the first time, don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong either. The important thing to keep in mind is that you are doing what's best for you, that it's a mutual decision. It's not somebody forcing you to do it when you don't want to, and you're doing it at the right time for you, and it's your choice and you're safe. Please make sure that when you are having sex that you are using protection, birth control, a condom. Please let it be a condom at least, because that actually also protects from STDs. And if you're preparing to have sex for the first time, don't overthink it, I guess. Be prepared, you know, come prepared with a condom and somebody who's right to have sex with for the first time and all that jazz, but don't overthink it, because like I said, it doesn't last that long. So don't be worried too much about your body. And if that's an issue, just try to let it go for that night or find some solution. I'm pretty sure I kept a bra on or maybe even my shirt on because I was so uncomfortable. So do what's ever right for you. If you want to have sex for a first time but it's your body that's holding you back because you're too embarrassed from it, you have no reason to be embarrassed. You rock whatever body you have and you go out there and have sex. Protected sex with the right person, of course, and it's your choice, but go out there and do it. Oh, and another thing that I was nervous about was that I was going to bleed all over or something like that. Like it was going to be painful, because you always hear about popping the cherry, like your hymen's going to break and there's going to be blood gushing all over. But that didn't happen. Everybody has a different kind of hymen. Like it could be broken a long time ago and you didn't know it. There could be blood, there may be not blood. I'm pretty sure mine broke maybe from playing sports or dance or something. It can break, like because of physical activity. So it's not always just broken from sex. So don't believe that there's going to be like this mess of blood everywhere because you popped your cherry and you're having sex for the first time. That I think rarely happens. So if you're nervous about it, maybe look into it a little bit. But otherwise, don't be concerned. That's all good. Something else that I was concerned about for having sex was that everybody was going to know that I had sex for the first time, even if I didn't tell them. Like I thought I was going to maybe look differently. Like I would have this glow about me, this certain knowledge about the world now because I had sex for the first time. But again, that fairy godmother did not come floating down and giving me that newfound knowledge. Nothing of the sort happened. I was just regular old me, but I had sex for the first time. And maybe that gave me a little self-confidence, but nothing else changed. Well, actually, something did change. Our relationship did. We became a lot closer. So we had this now bond that we were both virgins, had both lost our virginity to each other, had sex for the first time. We're taking this new step in our relationship. So all this stuff was happening to us, and I think really brought us closer. It gave us, you know, a more comfortable feeling between each other, because you now have this bond that you share, that you've both seen each other naked before and have had sex. It's the most intimate thing you can have with another human being, I think. So the fact that that had happened just kind of more solidified our relationship. But that is definitely the one thing that does change for sure, is that relationship with whoever you lost your virginity to, or just in general, whoever you have sex with, that relationship has now changed with them. Because even if you're not in like a romantic relationship with them, you have created a relationship between you two because you've had sex now. So just keep that in mind with whoever you pick. Having sex with them is going to change whatever dynamic the two of you had before. And if you're nervous too about having sex for the first time and the actual act of it, go research it. Go watch some porn. I mean, don't take all the tips from porn because that is very fake and overdone, so don't expect that that will be happening. But at least go watch some porn to get a basic understanding of what's going on. And maybe talk to your friends too. If you know somebody that has already had sex before, I'm sure they have some tips for you to use for that first time, and maybe it'll calm you down too. And there you have it, sex for the first time. So like I said, get yourself prepared, get yourself somebody that you trust, and get some protection, and make sure you're ready. 4 steps, I think. Yeah. Thanks, beauties, for watching another video. Hit that subscribe button down there if you haven't already. I will see you in the next one when we talk about another fun sex topic.